Hi guys, welcome back to another GGF video review. Today we're checking out two brand new mice from CM Storm by Cooler Master. We have the Mizar and the Alcor. Unfortunately, I don't have the boxes for these as they didn't come in the boxes. They just came as is. These are engineering samples, so they may have a scratch or two on them as I've been using them for quite a bit to test them out. So pretty much we have the Mizar, the Alcor. The Mizar is more of your high-end model and the Alcor is just sort of a lower end in the range of the two. The theme of these, the Alcor and Mizar originate from two binary stars, so that's where the two names come from. We'll have a look at the where these sort of position in the CM Storm range. So we have the Sentinel series, your more high end, and then we sort of move down to the Mizar, the Alcor, and so on. So some of the main features for these two mice is you have the color LEDs. They both have, I'll actually grab the Mizar. They actually both have interchangeable LEDs on the top, the wheel, and so forth. They also have, one has a laser sensor being the Mizar, and the Alcor has an optical sensor. The Mizar has some pretty high-end software which we'll go through later on, and they both have a palm grip. So the target audience for these are sort of pretty much any game, FPS, RTS. The Mizar is sort of more for your RTS, and the Alcor is more for your FPS. So as you can see, the Mizar uses an Avogo 9800 laser sensor, so that's ideal for RTS, RPG, and other games like that that use sort of long movements on a large open area map. Like you can also use it for FPS, but it's more sort of designed for that. That's it there. One thing I'll note that these mice are really light. They don't have interchangeable weights. They sort of represent your old school Microsoft mice, which everyone loved in the Quake 3 days. The Alcor uses a Avogo 3090 optical sensor, which is this one here, which is ideal for FPS and other games, and it requires more accurate and consistent tracking. So that's it there, and you can actually tell underneath there. And we'll just have a look underneath the other one. That's that one there. Alright, so we'll have a look at the software a little bit later on. I'll fire that up, but that's only for the Mizar. The Alcor doesn't come with any software. Alright, so this is where these stand with their competitors. So we've got the Alcor and Mizar on the left. So the Alcor goes up to 4000 DPI. The Mizar goes all the way up to 8200. You got apps for tuning, which yes, the Mizar does. Buttons, you have 7 for each. They both use an Avogo sensor. One uses optical, one uses laser. Color LED zones is 1, and you have 4 colors, and you have 7 colors, and the prices US are very sort of comparable to other high-end or sort of medium-range mice, as you can see. So we've got the Razer Death Adder, so that's slightly more expensive. That uses a 4G dual sensor, and so on with the Steel Series, etc. Right, so that's pretty much it for that. We might just get some close-ups on these. I'll actually plug these in to a laptop to see what the see how these look with the colors, and we'll just do the configuring on the Mizar and see what the software can actually do. So on the left, I'll start off with the Alcor. As you can see, it has a white light set for default on the CM Storm logo. Unfortunately, having no software, you can't change the default colors for these. So the 2 buttons above are just your DPI up and down. So when you go up, it just cycles through. Default is 800 DPI, 1600 DPI, 3200 DPI, and then the maximum is 4000 DPI, which is the blue, and then you can just cycle back down. So being default like that, that's not too bad. You do get a broad range of DPI settings. Unfortunately, the mouse sensor, the scroll wheel doesn't actually light up, which isn't a big deal, but I just thought it may have going by the one next to it. Just another note that the mouse wheel is sort of it's got a sort of a jointed rubber and non-rubber on the sides and rubber in the middle, so it gives it a nice sort of textured feel when scrolling. So we have your 2 back and a back and a forward button on the side, and then there's no more buttons on the right side, and they are really light mice. And on the back, or on the bottom, sorry, we just have the optical sensor underneath, which you can see there, and the cable is just a non-braided, just standard cable like so. Alright, so that's that one out of the way. We'll move over to the sort of high model Mizar. So straight away it's got a nice braided cable, just like that, all the way to the end. In addition to the Alcor, it's got these little sort of dimpled thumb grips on each side. So you've got one there and on there. So they do give it a nice feel when gripping it. You also have your forward and back buttons. But the difference with this mice is coming with its own software. You can control the sensitivity, the DPI, the different colors, and what the buttons do. And unfortunately, the only thing you can't do is you can't change the color of this LED wheel. Maybe with future software updates you might be able to, but I'm not sure what LED controls that color. But at the moment, there's no option in the software to do it. And this one uses the laser sensor underneath just there, and you can adjust the DPI settings. And as you scroll through, it comes with a set of default settings, but you can completely change what DPI setting you want and what color as well you want set with those. And you can also cycle through different color modes for the LED. You can change it to rapid fire, breathing, always on and always off. So that's pretty much it on covering just a close-up of these mice. As you can see, they're very sort of similar in shape. They feel very nice on the hand. They're not overly too large, they're not overly too small. They're not a weird shape that you need to sort of adjust your hand to grab onto. A very sort of standard ergonomic shape, which makes them feel really nice when using them. We'll just have a look at the Mizar now and its software and see what you can do within its software. Alright, so once you've installed the software, you just load it up in the system tray. This is it here. We've got the Mizar up the top. So we've got sort of broken into sort of two different parts. You've got your main, advanced and macros here. And on the right, you've got profiles, library and support. So straight away, I've just installed this software. I haven't adjusted anything on the mouse. I'm just using the default DPI settings. And I must say, it just feels really nice at its current state. Everything sort of just feels right. There's no sort of, oh, I need to sort of adjust these settings straight away. I've used mice before where you just have to tweak them for a while to make them sort of feel how you want. But straight away out of the box, I reckon I could start playing a game and I'll be very comfortable at playing it just how it is. Moving along, so we've got the main settings. So this is where you set all your buttons. So you've got your two on the side, you've got your left and your right mouse click, you've got your scroll wheel, and then these two default 6 and 7 are your DPI up and down. So you can do a whole heap of features here. You've got DPI. Instead of just a DPI up and down, you've got different, you can jump to a DPI level, which is over here in the advanced tab. You can either do DPI up, you can cycle through them. So they've actually gone into a lot of detail for each sort of DPI setting there. You can sensor on and off, rapid fire, multimedia, a lot of sort of default things there. So there's plenty of options to choose from for the buttons. Moving on to advanced, you've got a heap of controls here. For a relatively cheap mouse, you have a lot of features which you can control here. And a lot of features that are necessary, not just a whole heap of things that on a mouse that you probably don't really want to use. So straight away you've got your 4 DPI levels, 1, 2, 3, 4. So at default they come at 800, 1600, 3200 and jump all the way to 8100. So if I go to 8100 now, it's like pretty crazy to control. So that mouse cursor is just going all over the place. I'll just put it down a bit, back to default. And now you have just your default set of LED colors. I guess you don't have any color you want. I guess that's the only extra thing they could have added, maybe giving you just a color wheel to choose from. But they've seemed to have got you well covered there with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 colors. They've 7 colors they've given you there. Moving down a bit, we've got USB polling rate. That comes default at 1000, which you want. We've got some LED mode options here. So we've got always on. So if I do apply, it's just programming the mouse now. And now you can see the LED. Probably won't see that too well, but LED is always on. We can do always off. I won't show you that one. That's pretty standard. Breathing, if we apply that, that's sort of a pulsating mode. So we have a look at that. We'll see if it goes. So yeah, it's got a slight breathe to it. And then we have rapid fire, which is on a few of the CM Storm products. When you click a mouse, the LED sort of lights up. So when you're shooting, it kind of, which it's not doing now. Just let me see if I can Look at that. Oh, that's because it's set to white. So if I set the lead color to red, then set it to rapid fire. There we go. So now it's red, and then when I shoot, it just sort of pulsates to the white. So that's your rapid fire mode. I know some of the newer keyboards are doing that. Sorry, some of the other newer mice are doing that. I'm not sure if the keyboards are doing that with some of the lighting effects. Moving down, we've got LED brightness. I find this is really good. Some people won't need it, but I really like having the option to change your LED brightness, because a lot of people will game in different lighting areas, dark rooms, light rooms, and now I put that down and you can just see it's about a bit less than half as what it was before. I'll put that up. Other options is OS sensitivity, double click speed, and your button response time. And you can actually lock these, so you can't go in the control panel mouse settings and sort of change them there and change them here. So you can lock them to either or just use this one. You've got angle snapping, which is a good feature to have. And then we've got a double click test area here to test your double click speed and things like that. And then down the bottom here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 profiles, which we can actually save to the mouse. Another thing that's not too bad is the actual programming the mouse to memory. It only takes about 5 seconds or so, which is relatively quick. The last thing you want is to save a profile or save a setting, and it takes a minute or so to actually save it. All right, moving over to macros. So you can actually set macros to the different buttons. So you can select a button, button 1, we can sort of start recording. And if I hit a key, we can actually do a delay, keystroke, a mouse option. So you can do quite a bit in there. I won't go too advanced into that. Most people know how to sort of use macros and things like that, but it's handy that it does have the macro options. Moving on, we've got profiles. We can save our profiles, back them up, things like that. Our library, we've got our macro library, which we can do more advanced options with the macros. And then we've just got our support over here on the last tab here for any updates and version info. Right, so that's pretty much it for this review. Just wanted to go over these two different mice, the new look on these two mice, the feel of these, the differences between the two, and also cover the software on the Mizar and some of the new features that can be done. I'm not sure the exact release date on these two mice, but they will be out pretty soon, so stay tuned for when they're coming out. I want to say thanks for Cooler Master or CM Storm for sending me these to review, and thanks for watching, and stay tuned for next time.